Okay, Sheilagh, what's important to you about doing this cycle ride?
Well, I want to raise money for the orchestra that I play with in Durham, and I want the opportunity to take the small bass into schools to let children actually have contact with it, see it, hear it, and then come up and try it.
So, so what's really important about doing that?
Well, the double bass is an instrument that you don't really look at it and say, gosh, I want to play the biggest instrument next to the harp that's going to make my life really difficult. Why would you want to play that instrument?
So, why is this important to you?
Because I think that somewhere out there is the next child like I was that heard the bass and thought, I love that sound, I want to play that instrument.
So you've come up with a pretty mad idea. Can you tell us a
Thank
little
you.
bit about it? How are you trying to make a difference?
Well, I want to make it interesting by being mad, and so I'm putting in a little mini bass, which is about this tall, into a trailer attached to my bicycle, and I'm going into the school, and hopefully that'll get the children's interest to start with.
And is this all important to anybody else as well? The orchestra, for example, what's important to them?
Well, all orchestras need to continue to be fed by new musicians, students, and then adults who want to continue playing at a high standard, and that's important to them.
Okay. How will you know you've been successful and made a difference?
I think that'll be hard to tell, because it may not be for this generation even, but if these children remember this experience, and when they get older, maybe there's a bass at their senior school, or when they're even a parent themselves, they might remember that they heard the double bass and think that perhaps their own child could try it, even if they didn't follow it themselves.
So in the short term, you would know that you've made a difference because you've got there, you've raised some money.
Yeah.
How much money will you have raised?
Well,
Roughly?
it'll be a little over £1,000, hopefully.
And you'll have raised some awareness of Orchestra North East?
Definitely.
So
Yes.
there's some quite tangible short-term...
Yeah. And I've even been able to sell some tickets for the upcoming concert to local people who are going to come up from Scarborough to Newcastle, to Gateshead,
Excellent.
for the concert.
So,
Getting up at 5 and leaving at 6:30, because it'll be about 20 minutes with the trailer on the bass to the watermark. But now I have to add in here interview with BBC Tees at 6:40. Coming out of Hartlepool, it's going to be the National Cycle Route 14. Go out here somewhere. So it's about 27 miles tomorrow. They've got another school in the morning, and then we've got lunch with one of the orchestra players in Saltburn, and then after that, it's kind of just getting wherever I can, whenever I can.
Yeah, it's fabulous.
Sheilagh, are you looking forward to your trip today?
Yes, I am, especially given the lovely weather, and it's just such a lovely route up there. So really, I've done it about 3 times now, so I'm looking forward to that.
And how did the radio interview go this morning?
That was more anxiety-provoking than anything else.
But you managed to convey your
I
passion.
think I was fairly coherent. Yes, my passion, definitely.
Thank you.
Tired?
Hey!
Yes.
Well done, you.
Yes.
Oh, well.
And now official. Oh, amazing morning.
I think Jane has a...
I didn't know what the concern was this morning. I thought you were the other one.
It was a ponytail.
Going in for a close-ish.
Close up, alright. Do one with the little one as well. Oh, look, oh, zoom in. Not too fast for you.
this is what we call a mini bass, because if I have my own double bass here, the bottom, this part, will be all the way to the ground, and this part will be about there, and that's quite big. And I brought this little one so that at the end, one or two of you can come and have a little try. When the hair comes from, when the hair gets cut off the horse, they don't cut the whole tail off, because the horse has got to, you know, get rid of the flies and things like that. So they're not cruel, they don't take the whole lot of hair, they just cut a chunk of it. And you might even know this piece. Fingerboard, we always bow below the fingerboard. Yeah. Now you have to press a little bit because of this thick string. It's like getting a big lorry going. It takes a lot of power to get the lorry going because it's got to overcome friction and it's got a lot of weight.
So Sheilagh, here we are, day 1 completed in Whitby. Just a little recap. So what's really important about this trip again?
Inspiring children to buy music.
And what difference do you want to make?
Just that they have a memorable experience that they can take with them and draw on at some future point.
And why is that really important to you?
Because I want to promote the maintenance of music, and especially classical music, amongst young people.
Okay. Any evidence that you'd inspire people today?
Yeah, I think that that the children came up with really good questions, and that, well, I think the adults in the schools have got a different way to think about stringed instruments. And earlier today with the people that came to support me, I think that you know, they're probably surprised that I'm doing something like this, and can maybe they'll have some reflections for themselves.
So already you've seen children's hands in the air, excitement, talking, teachers being interested, and your friends being inspired and being proud of what you're doing. So you've
seeing me in a different light.
And seeing you different light, so you've made a substantial difference already.
Thank you.
And any sort of things that you would sort out for tomorrow to keep going? Any negatives that need turning into positive action?
Yes, hopefully my bike cable, the lock, will be restored to me, and that perhaps I can get some keys so that I can get back in when I get home. I think that I'll have to think about riding on my own. It's going to be a lot different from having the company and the support of other cyclists today. Was really helpful.
Again, what can you look out for that will help you know that you've actually made a little difference tomorrow?
Well, I think that just the look in people's eyes is very satisfying when you see that their faces light up, or they look puzzled, and then you maybe have a word with them and they start figuring things out and start thinking about something that's important to somebody else and why that might be. Thank you, Peter and Wendy, for a lovely lunch.
You're very
and a lovely rest stop.
Yeah, on your bike.
Too bad I've got to get back on my bike.
How was the ride, Sheilagh?
That was great.
Any hairy bits?
The wind, there was quite a strong wind, and at one or two places the guide for the cycle route disappears, but I made my way back to it. And the phone is, now I've found Cycle Streets, it's fantastic because it actually, with the GPS, it just puts you right where you're standing if you stand still long enough.
Great. Any moments that you really enjoyed?
I'd have liked to have gone into the Anglo-Saxon Princess exhibit Just seeing the pictures whetted my appetite.
Hello.
Hello.
Hello. This is a very famous person ahead of us. She's raising money on a sponsored cycle.
All right.
Sheilagh can tell you all about it.
I couldn't manage fish and chips.
How are you?
Hey.
Oh, wet, muddy. Oh, took me an hour to get out of Harvey. And I had a whole bike club with me. Except they went too slowly.
They went too slowly. Yeah.
Well, in the beginning, but a couple of them caught me up eventually. Enjoy.
Good journey.
103.9.
Safe pedaling.
Go safe. We'll see you soon. Bye. Bye. Mad woman.
So, Sheilagh, how will you know you've made a difference now that we've arrived in Newcastle?
Well, I have decided that it's not the Bicycle ride, but it's the Bicycles miles, or the Bicycle smiles. And it's not about future bass players, it's about showing children how they can listen in a different way. And instead of just listening to melodic lines whether they're at a concert or listening to a CD or something like that, but that they can discover for themselves how to lower their listening range so that they hear the foundation of the orchestra, not just the basses, but the foundation of any music that's more than a single line. But what I'll know is that I've set a seed in their brains that is there for retrieving any time that they want to, or that they see something that triggers that memory.
To see the photograph you've got arriving at the Sage Gateshead with the picture, how do you feel having accomplished this?
I'm really excited about the ride now. I'm ready to go.
You want to carry on?
Oh no, I want to start over and just do it again for fun.
So you've ridden this far. How many miles is that?
120.
120 miles. You've raised awareness of the double bass in schools along the way. You've created smiles with schools and people who you've come across, and you've come to the Sage and this at the Civic Centre, and people have been inspired perhaps to do things for themselves as well. Do you think people have been inspired by what you've done?
Oh, I would think, especially in the schools, they have been inspired.
Mm-hmm.
I waved and said hi and hello to a lot of people today. I mean, I really had some great help along the way, and it's really something to put on my list of I've done this once, I probably will never do it again. Thingies.
Great, thank you.